Hello, everybody. Really glad to be with all of our Westminster residents, folks that look at our website and our social media. I'm really pleased to be here today. I'll introduce myself because you may not know me. I have with me today our police chief. You probably know Tim. I'm the city manager here in Westminster, and I've been city manager here for 6 years. I've worked in the city for 8 years, and I love our community, and I'm very proud to be your city manager, and I really appreciate all the support that we get from our citizens and the wonderful community that we have. My job is that I work for the city council, and I work for the community, and I work for the workforce. Those are important roles, and in balancing those roles, you know, I have it's quite a bit of responsibility, but I enjoy having that responsibility because this is just such a great community. I'm here today with Tim, our police chief, to speak to our police officers and to you, our community, about our police officers and our police department in our city. I'll mention a couple of other things, but really the primary message here today is about the Westminster Police Department. We have an outstanding police department. I've worked in local government for over 40 years, and I've worked in 5 jurisdictions in 3 states, and I've been fortunate to be associated with great public service in all those communities. But I have to tell you, I couldn't be more proud to be here and be with the workers in our organization, the people who deliver water to you and take care of our streets, maintain and provide beautiful parks and open spaces and libraries, and then the people who pay the bills and do all the work to hire folks and just all the support system we have. This is one outstanding organization of a couple thousand people. But to get to the point here today, I'm here today because we have in our society an increased negative focus on law enforcement on a national level, on a state level, and to some extent on a local level. And I'm here today to talk about that and to tell you how I feel about that and to ask for your help and cooperation. This is an incredibly difficult time to be a police officer. I don't know that there's an easy time to be a police officer with the responsibilities these folks have, but this is in particular incredibly difficult, and it's become more difficult for them than I think is necessary, because I think there are many people who question our police departments in a way that is making it more difficult to do their work, and I understand all of that. I really do, and I want you to know that our police department and our police officers are extremely professional. We want our professionals to know, and I want you to know, that we look at them in a way that is with high regard, and it's because of the long history we've had. And I'm going to turn to Tim here in just a second and ask him to speak a little bit to his role as the chief of police. I want all of you folks to know that we sincerely appreciate our police officers' work. We appreciate the way they do it because they do it in the right way. And when they don't, well, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to tell you that we're always here to get better. And one of the things that I so appreciate, I had a conversation with the chief and his deputies here yesterday, and it just was heartening to me to have them come to me and say, we're thinking about these things that are going on, and here's some ideas that we have moving forward to get better as a police department. And that's just the way we are, and I want you to know that. So I want you to leave today. In part, what I want to do is I want you to feel safe that we have the police department here in Westminster that you're always going to be proud of. So, Tim, I think I'll just turn to you and ask you if you would just make your own comments.
Sure. Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Nice to be able to get in front of our community and talk to you. My name is Tim Carlson. I am the chief of police in the city of Westminster. I've been the chief for about 4 years. And I've been with the police department for 34 years. So I was hired in 1987 as a brand new patrol officer and have been with the organization ever since. And I think even that right there should tell you how deeply passionate I am about not only this community, but the officers in this department and the city organization that supports us in the service delivery that we do as a police department. I have enormous pride in our staff, in our cops, our civilian staff here at our police department. And so this has been a very difficult time. It's emotional for a lot of people. There's a lot of things going on. We get it, we see it, and as Don just mentioned, we're taking a look at ourselves and say, okay, what does our community expect from us? How can we improve? What kind of things can we do better? But I do want to acknowledge these tough times. I do want to thank the city for arranging this to kind of publicly acknowledge that the city, the organization, from the city manager's office to our city council, has shown tremendous support for us. So that's, I think, an important message for you. And as Don mentioned, our passion for service for you has never changed, and it won't change, certainly not while I'm here. You know, from our detectives who file cases and come out in the middle of the night, to our crime scene staff, to our admin staff, and to our officers who are out there, even as you're watching this, they're out there performing the functions as a police officer. I have enormous pride in them. I have enormous confidence in their professionalism. We spend an enormous amount of money on hiring to get the right people, on training, and on equipping them to be able to do their service well. And they pull it off with unbelievable professionalism. We hold the highest standards, we have great training, and we hold people accountable appropriately. You know what? We're not an organization that's perfect, and I think Don will speak to that in a minute, but you know what? No organization is. But when we come across behaviors that are against our values, we deal with them quickly and fairly, and to make sure that the service delivery continues, and that our people are out there doing the right thing. So, you know, I think one of the biggest things, Don, that has come out of this kind of events over the past few weeks is that issue of trust, integrity, accountability, and all those have been called into question. But I guess from my chair, I want to let the community know that the people that serve here have the highest level of integrity. I have confidence in that, that you can trust them in delivering police service that is fair, that treats all people equally, and keeps our community safe at the same time. They're just an amazing group of people, and it's an honor and a privilege to having been here 34 years and now to serve with them as well. And I will touch on one other thing, Don, that you brought up. And we have been evaluating our service, but we've been evaluating that all along because there's no finish line to improvement in any organization. And so you always assess what you're doing and how you do it and why you do it. And we're in that process now. And I'm very proud of our staff. We've taken a hard look at those issues in our community, and we're setting up times when we can talk to our community and listen as to the concerns you have, issues that you may have, and how we can help with that. So that's just an example of, I think, how we deliver that service. And again, I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of our folks, and I just wanted to let you know. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to say something.
Well, I feel like there's not a whole lot else I need to say after Tim has said what he said. I do want to say something, though, about Tim and about the department and its employees. I inherited an extraordinary police department. Lee Burke was the chief when I took this job 6 years ago. And when Lee decided to retire, and I had great regard for Lee, and many of you know Lee well. Lee took this city through some very, very difficult times and showed great leadership. When he decided to retire, he told me there was no place that I needed to go to look for a chief except right within the building. And Tim had a lot of support of the officers, and so we did not do a recruitment outside because we had the person inside with the values we needed moving forward, and I really appreciate that. I also want to tell you that a little bit about me. I have colleagues across the country. I have many colleagues and friends and associates who I've worked with over years that are minority and have been supporters and folks who have advised my life and my career, particularly African American leaders in two of the cities that I worked in. And recently, some of those folks have reached out to me and asked me in my role, what I thought about this and what I was doing. And I'll tell you the same thing I told them. The biggest thing in this role is that I have the responsibility to appoint the police chief. And the police chief then hires the leadership and appoints the leadership. and is responsible for the implementation. So I feel very, very good about the selection that we made, and it's because they continue to be a proactive organization. I want to also reiterate from my chair that the city will always manage and deal with issues of unacceptable actions of any employee in any department by investigating, and claims that are warranted will be dealt with in a firm and a fair way. And that's the way we do things. And so we maintain integrity in our organization by maintaining a culture of people who have integrity. And that's a non-negotiable sort of a thing, and we feel about it. We have an incredibly ethical and well-respected police department here. I feel great about that. I feel great that I see our officers interact in the community in a way that is with mutual respect and value and appreciation. I also want to talk a little bit about becoming a better community as we move forward. I think becoming a better community does include being welcoming and being an inclusive community, and being a community that promotes social equity. And in my life and what I've done and what you've heard Tim express here today, that's part of the equation, is to take a look around and see what we can do as a society to help people live a life where they feel safe and protected and are treated fairly. Racism is not anything that we accept anywhere within our organization. I think becoming a better community also requires all of us to support those people who do our hard work, those people who work around the clock to keep us safe, to keep our water flowing, to visit us in our homes when we have emergencies and we need medical care. All of those people, and in this case, our people who do that around the clock work in public safety are doing it in some difficult situation, and I'm going to ask you to join me and join the City Council and to wrap our arms around these folks and to help them through this difficult time, to work with them. As you've heard from the chief, he's going to be asking for your feedback and input. Be there and speak up and talk to these folks and give them your feedback. But let's work together to support our police department. Let's make sure they understand how much we appreciate them. And I'm going to finish and turn to Tim and allow him to say anything he wants to at the end. I just want to thank you for listening here today, and I want to tell you what an honor it is to serve all of you, and an honor it is to serve with these folks. And I look forward to being with you down the road to discussing how we can make this a better community.
Well, and thanks, Don. I appreciate those kind comments. And I won't take any more of your time. Thank you for listening to this point. I will echo what Don said. It is an honor and a privilege to serve in this community. I wouldn't have done it for 34 years if that wasn't the case. So thank you for that opportunity, and please let us know how we can serve you better as we move forward. So thank you very much.